Well, very early good morning. Okay, so we all know about synchronicity, right? Well, hmm. Some of these synchronicities aren't always about you. And what I mean is that when you start to do this, yeah, you can synchronize and get all the things you want and whatnot, but there is a time and there is a reason why some of us are doing this, which is the whole service, the whole being a service thing. And synchronicity works that way too. For example, one time, there are moments when I just feel like going out certain places for no reason. I don't know why, I just do, and I do sometimes listen to that. Other times I can't due to other conditions. But here's an example of what happened to me one time. I go to the mall, I'm running around, doing my usual, looking around, couldn't find anything. I'm like, you know what? Let's just go home, you know? And I see this kid and I feel something weird about this kid. I'm like, okay, whatever. Maybe he's in some kind of mood or something. Then we're making our way to the car and I'm seeing how these other kids are around. And they look kind of suspicious. So I'm like, alright. I know that these kids are talking about the other kid. Because, let's be realistic, sometimes you aren't very quiet about your intentions. People are very loud all the time. And I'm looking around me and all I know is that I'm like, you know what, I should probably go slow. So I'm telling my husband we're getting to the car, we're getting out slow, and we're passing through these boys, right? And they're kind of like in the way because they're kind of walking with us. They're just whatever. I'm like, what are these kids doing? So I'm like, you know what, dude, stop right here, just slow down. And then it turns out the other kids were about to jump the one other kid, and the other kid had a knife. He was ready to use it. And if I wasn't because I saw that and I got out of the car immediately and yelled, it was gonna get ugly. Like, really, really ugly. And, yeah, the other kids ran away and the one kid was still there. So we kind of basically walked him with a car. We said, just stay around our car, please. And he just kept walking and we just kept riding with him until we got out of the parking ticket because we were still in the parking. We had to pay for our ticket before leaving. So when we finally got there and we saw him get out, we were like, okay, so he's fine, he's relieved, he's around in public where other people can see him and he's fine. But what I'm trying to say is that sometimes you'll feel the urge to either go somewhere and you'll find nothing. Like, you'll just be like, why was I called to be here? What's going on? Or, like, that's also part of why you're being asked to stay grounded and look around you. Because sometimes being in the right place at the right time doesn't necessarily mean it's for you. It's not always about you. Sometimes it's to interrupt a very negative thought that a person was passing by and you seeing hi interrupted that. Because that has happened to me. Sometimes the right person says hi, or a random stranger, or a random bark or tweet, and interrupt us that, and that's like a small little blessing. Like I said, sometimes something not going our way, or maybe being late somewhere, you're the hold up for somebody else who could have gotten into an accident. So sometimes certain situations, just don't stress it, what I'm trying to say, man. Like, once you start to calm down with this and you start to, like, relax with it, you'll start to see what I mean when I say that not all synchronicities are for you. Sometimes you're here for your brothers and sisters who are also doing the same thing that you are. And I just realized that sometimes we don't always notice it because it's so simple. It's subtle. And most of God's work is subtle. Very subtle, and that's why it gets lost. So I don't know. I say we're all doing a good job. You're doing a good job. Keep doing what you're doing. Even going for a walk and saying hi to someone is a great help. You never know.